What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I'm going to get into Joe Douglas admitting a mistake from his past and maybe him hinting at his NFL draft strategy. We're going to get into it. Speaking of the NFL draft and draft strategy, I know what your draft strategy should be because it's what my draft strategy is. I will be at the main event in Farmingdale on Long Island. There are 17 days left to purchase tickets. Yes, a little over 2 weeks. We got to let the venue know how many crazy Jet fans are coming. So there is a cutoff date to get your tickets. Purchase them at talkingjets.com. Your ticket includes entry for the event, obviously, but your experience comes with food, which is the Talkin' Jets buffet. You'll have all kinds of different apps, chicken parm, all that kind of good stuff. Open bar for the first round of the NFL draft. I will be taking advantage of that in either celebration or trying to maybe ignore or forget about some mistakes that were potentially made. I don't think that's going to be the way. And then there's going to be awesome raffles. We're raffling off some tickets to Jet games in the 2024 season. We have tailgating things to raffle off. We got like a Jets cornhole merch as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure to get your tickets. So it's very rare, I feel like, that you get a general manager who admits fault or admits a mistake. And that's exactly what Joe Douglas did yesterday when he was discussing the offensive line additions and bringing back Morgan Moses. He says it was a mistake flat out to let him leave in the first place.
Big Mo, I think, letting Mo walk was a huge mistake. So the opportunity to bring him back and he's such a calming presence on the line. He's such a solid person and a consistent performer at right tackle, and just having him lock down the right tackle spot.
So Morgan Moses was a late signing in the 2021 offseason. The Jets had coming off of his rookie season, Mekhi Becton. They had George Fant under contract as well. And those two guys were the planned starting tackles, and then Morgan Moses was going to be brought in for depth. And in the first game of the season against the Carolina Panthers, unfortunately, we see that Mekhi Becton gets rolled up on. He leaves. His season is over. George Fant slides from right tackle over to left tackle and has a really good year in 2021 at left tackle. But at right tackle, Morgan Moses came in and was really good for the Jets, and he parlayed that into a 3-year contract with the Baltimore Ravens. But I remember back in those days, there were some debates amongst fans whether or not the Jets should keep Morgan Moses. And Moses signed to a spot where he would have had an opportunity to start, and that was the debate, I think, among Jet fans is, do you want Morgan Moses back? And what do you do with Mekhi Becton? And then, okay, what about with George Fant? And that kind of became the talking point of what do the Jets do on the offensive line? Well, they decide that they're going to run it back with Mekhi Becton and George Fant as the Jets' two tackles. And Mekhi Becton gets hurt in training camp, misses the entire season. George Fant was banged up for most of 22 and was not very productive. So they absolutely could have used a guy like Morgan Moses. So they go out and they trade for him. They pick swap in the 4th round, give up an additional 6th round pick to land a starting caliber right tackle. A stellar move, probably my favorite move of the offseason so far, was the Morgan Moses trade. The Jets gave up very, very little in draft capital to get a starting caliber offensive lineman on the cheap. So I'm excited to watch our guy Morgan Moses at right tackle this year. He was a warrior in 2023 as he played through a torn pectoral muscle. Just an absolute beast, played in 14 games last year. I would expect him to play even better this year, coming off of the surgery. The next thing that I want to get into is speaking with the media yesterday. Rich Cimini asked him about Brock Bowers, or not specifically Brock Bowers, but we know that's who he was talking about, and the New York Jets draft strategy and the thought of taking a tight end that early.
I think you've seen tight ends go high in recent drafts. Again, we're still early in our process. There's still pro days going on. We're getting in with the coaches in the first couple of weeks of April, and we're gonna hammer out this draft board soon. So again, we're open to anyone that can come in here and make an immediate impact for the team.
Now, he didn't really go into too much detail on if, we'd pull the trigger on him and stuff like that. He let that very much so. He glossed over it. That was a very professional politician-like answer to a question where he really says a whole lot of nothing. But if you remember from just last year, the Jets were very high on Michael Mayer, who ended up going to the Las Vegas Raiders in, I believe, the second round. But in their draft rankings, they had Will McDonald, Michael Mayer, and then number 3 was Broderick Jones. So there was a clip last year. We'll play it.
Mayer, McDonald, and Bryce Jones. McDonald, Mayer, Broderick.
That was from the NFL draft, and that was their draft order. So even if Broderick Jones was available at 15, I don't think they would have taken him last year. That's not what I am not saying that the Jets made the right choice by doing that, or if they would have done that, but it seems like they were very high on the idea of adding a weapon in the first round last year. And granted, maybe their philosophy's changed, and it wouldn't shock me at all if they went offensive line. It really wouldn't, but I don't think we could rule out the Jets going with a weapon in the first round. I think it is absolutely something that's on the table, whether that's a Bowers at tight end, who's really more than just a prototypical inline tight end. He's a pass-catching weapon. You can line him up in the slot, out wide, in the backfield. He does a little bit of everything. Or if that's maybe drafting a wide receiver, Roma Dunze, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr. in a trade-up, a move back, and you're targeting A.D. Mitchell or Troy Franklin or any of these guys that you like at some point in the NFL draft. Moral of the story is I don't think, as Jet fans, we can rule out any of these possibilities for the Jets in the first round of the NFL draft. Is because there's 4 things the Jets could do that I think makes sense, and that's draft Bowers, a wide receiver, an offensive lineman, or trade back. And I think you can make a strong case for literally any one of those things. So I wouldn't rule it out on draft day. I know it might not be your favorite draft strategy, but you can't rule it out, and I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world either if they added him. So that's going to do it for me in this video. Before you go, please make sure to leave a like, comment down below your opinion on Joe Douglas admitting a mistake, or your thoughts on Brock Bowers potentially being in play for the New York Jets. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I will catch you next time.